Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of the Opposition Preview. First things first, guys, make sure you smash a like and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. And this weekend, Chelsea are looking to make it 3 wins in just over a week when Nottingham Forest visit Stamford Bridge for the final Premier League game before an international break. Yep, already one of those has arrived, which is kind of mad given the season's just started. But yeah, Chelsea looking to build some momentum after beating Luton and Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup second round. Forest come into town a point behind us in the table, 1 win and 2 defeats. Chelsea with 1 of each. Forest away record not great from last season. It's carried on into this season, but in fairness, it has been tough with Arsenal, United, and Chelsea as the first 3 away games. But having said that, last season, I know it was a different Chelsea, but we didn't beat Forest once last season, a 1-1 and a 2-2. So, yeah, a win would be nice for us. But this is not about Chelsea. It's going to be more about Forest. I'm delighted to be joined by Wolverine from Forest Fan TV. Mate, great to have you back. Glad we can do this again this season. What have you made of the Forest start to the season? 1 win and 2 defeats. I guess you could say you won the game you should have done, and then it kind of went to type in the other 2 games. But are you happy with what you've seen so far, even if you don't have the points on the board that perhaps you would have wanted?
Yeah, I think it's spot on, mate. It's kind of been an on-par performance. We won the game we should have. We lost the games we were expected to. But, in terms of the performances, I thought the away match performances, even though we lost, were better in parts than when we played Sheffield United. We only just got over the line in that game, Chris Wood scoring a last-minute header to get us the points. But yeah, in terms of the points tally, it's what I expected. I expected us to be on 3. You say, a tough start. It gets easier once we've played you because then we got Man City away. So it's a hell of... I don't think I've ever seen 4 away fixtures like that in all my years of watching football. But in terms of the performances, mate, they have improved from last season. I'll say that much, especially away from home. But we're still acting like an inferior team. We're showing too much respect to oppositions. If you look at the Arsenal game, for 70 minutes, we just low blocked them, 11 men behind the ball. And then when they felt the game was won, that's when Cooper made some changes, got us out of that annoying back 5, put us into a 4, brought Awoniyi on, who's just on fire, and Elanga, who's just lightning. We got a goal back, and, it made Arsenal nervous. And then at United, 2-0 up after 4 minutes. Couldn't believe my eyes, And then I still didn't expect us to get anything out of that because I knew we would revert to type and go low block and just invite the pressure on. And that's exactly what we did. Then, of course, they get their Manchester United decisions, as expected at Old Trafford, with that very soft penalty. That's only a penalty at Old Trafford. And it is what it is. But in general, mate, I still want to see more progression. It's probably a minority opinion, but I still feel that Cooper is way, way too negative in his tactics. He's been backed so much by the owner in terms of the investment. Even now, we're seeing some unreal names being linked to Forest, like Ibrahim Sangare. That's apparently getting close. Whether or not he wants to join, we'll find out probably today. But yeah, he's been backed and he's now got to put this team together, and he's got to start being more progressive in his play and, just stop showing so much respect to the opposition. I'm not saying go gung-ho, but I'm saying just pick your moments in the game. Don't wait till the game is gone before you start to, tinker and tweak and do things, mate. But yeah, I guess having said that, it may come across a bit moany, but 3 points is where I expected Forest to be currently, mate.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone would have had Forest down for, 3 points at this stage. And so I get what you're saying, though. Like, you want to, it's easy to play when the game's done. It's easy to go out and have a go, change things and go for it more because the game's done. Like, I think maybe be a bit braver. Obviously, as you say, you're not going to go gung-ho and try and take Arsenal on toe-to-toe, United on toe-to-toe. But, you can perhaps be a bit more expansive. And particularly with the players that Forest have got now, there's a quality of player there, like Awoniyi, who's scored 7 Premier League games on the spin now. Yeah. Maybe he's hunting down Jamie Vardy's record of 11. Who knows?
Yeah, not far off. Yeah.
He's not a million miles off. You've got players like Morgan Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson, if he ends up staying. There are good players there to play a more expansive style of football. So
Yeah.
I can imagine it must be frustrating from a fan's point of view. Before we get to the transfer window, just in terms of expectations for the season, obviously last season was just stay up, first time back in the Premier League for a long time. You managed to do that. Is it just the same this season? Just stay up again, or the fan base wanting a bit more, maybe pushing into mid-table? I would have said a cup run, but obviously went out to Burnley
That's
in the
gone.
Carabao
Yeah.
Cup last night. What were the expectations? Because I suppose with like Sporting Forest, I guess you just want to stay in the league, but is there more ambition than that?
I'd say the majority of the fan base will be happy with survival, maybe a couple of places higher than the 16th finish we got last season. In terms of myself, I can only speak on my behalf. I think the squad is getting strong enough that we should be. How's the best way to describe it? We should have a stress-free season. You know, a kind of Crystal Palace year. I know they struggled a little last year, but that mid-table finish where you're kind of done by, end of Feb time, March. And the squad is strong enough, I think, to do that. It just needs the right balance and the right formation and tactics to be played. Could we go any higher? I don't know, mate. I don't know. The heart talks, and you think to yourself, with those players you just mentioned, with if Sangare were to come in when Felipe's back and fit, there's a decent squad there. It's just the mentality of the football right now is low block, negative, and I just feel it once it clicks, it will click. You saw Fulham finishing 10th last season, coming straight up from the Championship. I do look at this Premier League this year, and I think it's weaker. I think there's a bigger divide between the top teams and the bottom teams. But also within those bottom teams, I feel there are teams that may struggle and could challenge Derby's record for the lowest points haul, So where should Forest be? In that middle of that sandwich, for me, I think could be a realistic one. But most Forest fans will say to you, give us anything above 17th and we'll be happy.
Just briefly on the cup, I don't want to remind you too much about it, but how are the domestic cups viewed at Forest? Because obviously, yes, survival's the number one aim, but I mean, do you look at it and you see, particularly the League Cup, you see that teams that are a little bit unfancied can go quite far. We've seen Swansea make finals. We've seen Bradford make finals. We've seen Aston Villa's make finals in sort of recent times. Is there a disappointment that the League Cup was not taken more seriously, or is it just kind of one of those things?
Well, we got to the semis last year, and that run did help kind of put the feel-good factor into the season. We actually saw some expansive football. I remember especially against Spurs when we knocked them out last year. My brother's a Spurs fan, so I enjoyed that. But and we got history. I mean, we've won both the domestic cups plenty of times over the years. But honestly, it's a divisive one. Again, I can't speak on behalf of the other fans, but for me, Premier League comes first. Like, establish yourself in the Premier League for the next couple of seasons, and then, look to win a domestic trophy. If we get a run, good. But what I will say is on yesterday, there is no excuse for what we saw on that pitch. Against Burnley's B team, they made 10 changes. We made 7. But the 7 changes that we brought in were still strong. We're bringing in a bloody World Cup winner to make his debut. Your boy Santos played yesterday as well. There was plenty of firepower in there to beat Burnley. And we had 0 shots on target, which is pathetic. And it's the mindset. You're at home. You're against a freshly promoted team who have put out their B squad, and you can't get a shot on goal. And that, for me, that's where I'm getting frustrated. But I would have taken a cup run, but as long as it didn't impact the Premier League run, for me, that was the more important thing. But you don't shy away from silverware, do you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, mate, in terms of the transfer window so far for Forest, obviously it's slamming shut Friday, and it's literally tomorrow, basically. Are you pleased with the business Forest have done so far? Obviously, you bought in loads of players last year. Not quite as many coming in this year, but just general, in brief, are you happy with the business that's been done? And between now and the window closing, what else do you feel the club still need?
It was very slow to start with, but I think the whole transfer market was quite slow. You almost feel like there needs to be certain dominoes that are knocked over. One player goes, that triggers the other. So we needed a keeper. We got Matt Turner in. Matt Turner's actually started quite well. I've been quite impressed with him. We got a left back who played for you boys, Ola Einar. I think he was a little stint there.
Yeah.
He's really impressed me. a surprise package there for me. Free transfer, versatile, can play right back, right wing back, left wing back. Really pacey. I like the look of him as well. Obviously, Chris Wood has been made a permanent signing. Nothing against the guy, but the deal's one of the most stupid deals I've ever seen in my life. 19 million in total, 4 million loan fee for last season and 15 million to pay this year on a year or so's contract, all going on the FFP numbers. That's hindered us heavily. But then we got, some decent players coming in now. We've got Gonzalo Montiel coming in, World Cup winner at right back. How good is he? I don't know if he's better than Aurier, in my opinion, but he comes with some prestige. He's really good going forward. I think he lacks a little bit defensively. But again, it's a sign of the progression and the players we are looking to target. Obviously, your boy Santos coming in, I was really excited about him because we needed that 6, and we spoke about it a week or so ago. And yeah, he's still young. Yes, he's still, a little green. But I think he can do really well. And I do expect to see him play in quite a few games. And now there's talks about Dominguez coming in from Serie A, really good midfielder. We've got who's the other one? Sangare. If we can capture Sangare, that's a hell of a marquee statement signing for me. Exactly what we need. What it would mean for Santos, I don't know.
What about Ndidi as well? They've been linked with him as well.
I'm not a massive fan of him, mate. I think he was really good a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because his stock was really high a few seasons ago, and now it's kind of dipped a little bit.
Yeah, he had a major injury. He's been playing for Leicester in the Championship, almost in a cam position right now, which I don't think is his role. But yeah, he for me, well, I've done a comparison on all these CDMs, and Sangare is like your complete number 6, can play the 6, can get forward, breaks the play up. When you look at someone like Ndidi, he's more of a sitting 6, really good on the defensive side of it. But in terms of turning that around and progressing that into attack, it's not his game. But he is still linked. I don't think we'll get both. I think if they can get Sangare over the line, he's the one we've been chasing for most of the summer. If he falls through, then the backup plan will be Ndidi from Leicester. There's talks of Batman, as you guys used to call him, coming as well.
Batman,
yeah. I don't mind him. We could have got him off you last season pretty much for a free. I think we were trying to terminate the contract with you guys, and that didn't quite work out. But there's talks about 5 to 7 mil for him. He's still scoring the goals out in Turkey and would be a good backup to Taiwo. So there's still a bit of business. Callum Hudson-Odoi. It seems like Forest only have 2 numbers in their phone book, somewhere Chelsea's and Man U's. Yeah. So and Arsenal, sorry, but yeah, he's one that I think could do well at Forest. I think he's been a bit stop-start as well in his career, but he's worked with Cooper before. I think back in the England days. Yeah. So he could be interesting. So I expect a very busy 24 hours coming from Forest. And again, it just shows you the ambitions of Marinakis, our owner, and how much he really wants to kind of invest in this team and push it forward.
I mean, in terms of the game itself, mate, obviously, I'm sure you're fully aware it's going to be a tough task. Obviously, we were a little bit better than we were last season. Well, I like to think so anyway. Certainly shown signs of improvement. It's going to be a difficult ask. If Forest are going to get anything out of this game, mate, what do you need? What do you need to do that you've not been able to do in your previous 2 away games?
I don't think this will be on Forest. I think this will be on what you guys do. Yeah. If I'm being honest with you, some of the inconsistencies are still there for me with Chelsea this season. I think his squad looks really good. It's still missing a 9, as far as I'm concerned.
We're not going to get one, but yeah.
Yeah, and Nkunku is one of my favorite players, and I think what a signing he was for you guys. So it's unfortunate, or fortunate from our perspective, that he's out for the game. But it just screams out to me when I look at that Chelsea team. If you had an old school, out and out number 9 who could just be in and around that box, I honestly would have put you to think about pushing or closing the gap on Man City. But you need a 9. I think midfield-wise, you look fantastic. It's down to Poch now to find the balance of the right combination in there. Defensively, yeah, you still got a few injuries, haven't you? I mean, Fofana has even played a game yet. How long has he been out for since you bought him from Leicester?
Well, he has missed quite a few games. Badia Shill's he's almost back a bit after the international break. But we have got capable defenders. There's like the basis of a good team is there, and a good squad's there. It's now just putting all of that together and gelling all those players together to make it into a good team, which is the hard bit. You know, we bought the players and we've got the talent. It's now just up to the players to realize that potential and Pochettino to obviously develop those players and harness them and allow them to flourish, to be as good as sort of we all know they can be.
Agreed.
I look at Forest and I think Awoniyi's a problem. Like, he started the season really well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, maybe not surprised, but maybe some clubs haven't looked at him. I mean,
It'd be perfect for you.
has there been
He
any?
literally would be
Yeah.
perfect for
I
you.
mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
think the only reason wouldn't have gone for him is because of the African Cup of Nations, because we're losing Jackson as well to set for
Mhm.
so like you don't want to bring someone in where you're going to lose both your forwards in January. But I mean, he's done really well. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard much about him, but I guess him with Morgan Gibbs White, those are the two biggest threats that Chelsea need to be wary of.
Yeah, I mean, Morgan Gibbs like can be inconsistent. He is one of my favorite players, but he tends to like to showboat a little. Sometimes overdoes the old skill moves rather than making the simple pass. But at the same time, when he overdoes them, they can come off. So it's sometimes can be a bit of an enigma. Awoniyi is the one who's going to give you a handful. I remember last year at the City Ground, he played out wide against you. I don't know why Cooper was doing that, but even then, he still looked good and he was causing a lot of headaches to your defense there. But he's just on fire at the moment. And this is in a low block, negatively playing team. You know, imagine him in a progressive team.
Yeah.
He'd come over from the Bundesliga, from Union Berlin. He was scoring goals there. I think he was the 5th highest goal scorer that season when we got him. And that was behind that. Lewandowski was still there. Haaland was still there. So that kind of shows you the pedigree he came with. He's still very unattractive on the eye in terms of his touches, you know, but he can finish. The best thing about him, he just finds himself in the right place at the right time. And he's got ridiculous strength and ridiculous pace. Everyone talks about how fast Brennan Johnson is and Elanga is, but Awoniyi is not far behind them with that pace. He really isn't. And with that physicality, it's just a beautiful combination. So for me, he's the one you need to worry about. Obviously, Santos will be tied up, so he can't play against you guys. But it's not hard to beat Forest because we're not unpredictable in terms of what we'll do. We will most likely play 5 at the back. We will block out the middle for you, force you to try and go out wide, and then try and hit you on the counter attack. Now, if you want to beat Forest, my advice would be just make sure you've always got 2 defenders back, just in case as insurance policy. But eventually, you will create a chance, and more likely than not, you will put one of those away. But will you stop us from the counter attack? That's the thing. With the pace we've got, you know, it will cause you guys trouble. But it just depends on how adventurous Cooper is going to be with it, mate.
I mean, let's just briefly, mate. Any players that particularly worry you ahead of the game on Saturday? Anyone you're looking at, you're thinking, yeah, we need to be careful of him. We need to make sure, you know, we're marking him, we're tracking him. Or who stands out to you that you're kind of particularly worried about?
So far for me, Enzo's been your standout player. I think he's been a bit of, you know, the engine room, the guy who's linked the play up nicely. I do think we can get at him a bit, you know, because he's not the tallest, he's not the most physical. So as long as we don't give him too much time and space to do what he does so well, that could be the avenue we target. I do worry about Sterling because I've never rated him.
He started the season really well. I think a lot of Chelsea fans have been surprised because he was poor last season. He was poor in pre-season, but now these first 3 games, he's done really well.
Well, I bantered my Chelsea mates saying he's found his level scoring against championship teams, you know, of Luton. But no, he scored against us last season. If I remember rightly, he scored 2, didn't he?
City ground. He scored at the City ground as well, yeah.
Yeah, God, he did as well, didn't he? Oh, that came off the crossbar, didn't it? Yeah, I remember that. So I do worry about he will come back to bite me in the ass because I do, you know, take the mick out of him a little. But outside of that, it's your midfield that worries me in general. I mean, I don't know what you will go with. Will it be a Casado link in there? We'll maybe see Lavia. I don't know.
No,
There's
I don't
a
think
lot
we'll
of
see Lavia, but you'll see the most expensive British midfield of all, the most expensive midfield of all time in the Premier League. You'll have a view of that. Those two will definitely play. But Yeah, look, I think the game will be won and lost in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to have to be wary of Forest, as you said, on the counter attack from set pieces as well. Not commit too many men forward, but I think the impetus is going to be on us to try and break you down.
Yeah.
And I think, once we've broken that resistance, I think the game could well become a lot easier. The longer it goes on and we haven't broken you down, the more difficult it's going to get and the more adventurous you might become. So I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game, but I do expect us. I do expect us to win. So, mate, to round out, what a score prediction? What are you saying? We had 2-2 last season.
We did 2-2, and were they both 2? No, 1-1. 1-1 was
Yeah,
at the City Ground.
yeah.
Yeah. And that City Ground game is a reflection of the frustration. In the first half, we paid you too much respect. Second
Second
half,
half,
we
you
came
hammered
out
us.
at you.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we absolutely hammered you. It's probably one of the best 45-minute performances we saw. In terms of this one, it really depends how the game starts. If we frustrate you for 20 minutes, I can see, a bit of unease coming through the players and the fans maybe, and we can hold out. But we always concede within 10 minutes after halftime. That seems to be our mantra at the moment. I think you guys, if you score early, you'll probably win this 3-1. And I'll probably say that. I'll be happy if Awoniyi can just keep the streak going and get to 8. I want him to overtake Vardy's record. So 3-1. I'm not expecting too much out of this game, but you could be frustrated. It really depends on what you do, because everyone knows what Forest are going to do when they turn up.
yeah. I'm going to go over a 2-1 win. I think it'll be a lot closer than people think, but I think we'll make it 3 wins in just over a week. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Mate, thanks so
Yeah.
much for your time. If people have enjoyed what you've had to say and want to check out more of your stuff, where should they go?
Yeah, come subscribe to us, say hi at Forest Fan TV on YouTube. We do a lot of stuff with Charlie. We're good mates off air, aren't we, Charlie? Now,
Always, always.
so yeah, come subscribe to the channel. Obviously, make sure you like this video and show Charlie some love, because you're doing a fantastic job, Charlie, on your channel. It's growing beautifully. It's great to see the success you're having as well, mate. So congratulations.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Guys, all that will be linked in the description. Will be linked in the title as well. All you got to do is click the app, takes you straight there, hit subscribe, show the guys some love. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you smash a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and I'll catch you again in another video soon.